Hello student, revision of the hip joint. We have seen the x-rays. Now this is to be most expected question from anatomy paper 2nd, question number 4, hip joint. Ankle and hip, these are the commonly asked joints from anatomy paper 2nd, question number 4. So hip joint, in the study of any joint, as all of you know, the protocol or the study of the joint is done by some methods. So first of all, there are some points under which you can study or you have to study the joint, name of the joint, type of the joint, subtype of the joint, then the bones participating in the joint, then actually surfaces or the parts of the bone actually participating in the formation of that joint, then articulating surfaces, then the ligaments. In this joint there is a very special joint which has a the whole weight of our body falls on the hip joint, so it has a stability as well as mobility, so certain factors are responsible for the stability or the mobility of the joint. Then the ligaments. So there are total 7 ligaments. Total 7 ligaments are there in the give the stability to the hip joint. Then 2 marks question may be asked. Name any 4 ligaments of the hip joint. So you have to. It's very easy to write the 2 marks question. The ligaments related to the hip joint. Secondly, description of the ligaments. Where the ligaments are joined to each other, one of the very special feature of the iliofemoral ligament, that you can bend your thigh to your chest, you can touch your thigh to your chest, but it is not possible to do the extension beyond certain degree due to the presence of the iliofemoral ligament, the ligament in between the ilium anteriorly and to the femur. So femur cannot be extended backward due to that presence of that ligament, iliofemoral ligament. So later on, the description of that particular ligament and relations, little bit relations of this ligament. Then the relations of the joint. As all of you know, I have drawn one diagram. You also have to sketch the diagram. In this question, you have to draw the diagram of the actually bones participating, articulating surfaces, and diagrams of the ligaments. Diagrams of the ligaments: iliofemoral, ischiofemoral, pivofemoral, transverse ligament, ligament of the head of the femur, transverse ligament. These ligament, the diagrams, you have a huge chance to gain the marks. More than around 9 marks you can gain if you write down the clinical anatomy of this joint. So the ligament, diagrams of the ligaments you can draw, diagram of a bones participating, diagram of a articulating surface, then the diagram of a relation. The diagram of the relation is of utmost importance because it consists of it is helpful you to write down the relations of the joint. So the ligament, the relations around the hip joint, anteriorly, medially, then the posteriorly, anterior, medial and posterior. There is no lateral compartment to the lower extremity. So don't bother regarding the lateral relation. Laterally there is a sheath that covers the gluteus maximus, some of the fibers of the gluteus maximus, and tensor fascia comes that guards the lateral aspect of the hip or the hip joint, and it becomes continuous as a the tensor fasciae and gluteus maximus comes together to form the iliotibial tract. So there is no lateral compartment of the thigh. So don't bother with the lateral relation. Only anterior, medial and the posterior relations are important. Then the blood supply. Then the nerve supply. Blood supply consists of the arterial supply and venous drainage. Blood supply in this region is important because if any artery gets ruptured due to the fracture of the neck, fracture of the neck is very common in the elderly persons, so that may rupture the artery that supplies to the joint. And the hip joint is supplied by obturator nerve. See, supply femoral nerve as well as a branch from the anterior division of the obturator nerve. So there may be referred pains. Both the nerves, femoral nerve and obturator nerve, supplies to the hip joint. So if any other structure supplied by the femoral nerve may lead to the pain in hip, such a pains are being called as a referred pains. It happens in case of obturator nerve also. If there is any disorder in the structure supplied by obturator nerve, leads to the referred pains in the hip as well as in the knee. Such a pains are being called as a referred pains. Then the movements, the flexion, extension is limited in case of a hip joint due to the presence of the iliofemoral ligament. Then abduction and taking it toward the central axis is a adduction. And rotatory movement and clinical anatomy points. I again revise: name of the joint, type of the joint, bones participating in the joint, actually articulating surfaces. Then the diagrams on that particular place, you can draw 5 to 7 diagrams in this question. That after to that, the ligaments. You can draw the diagram of that ligament and describe. Draw the diagram of that ligament and describe. Ligaments, then relations. After relations, blood supply consists of arterial supply and venous drainage, nerve supply. Then the moments of the joint is important because it has a restriction. Like that shoulder joint, you can't move your hip joint. It has a mobility, no doubt, but like that of a shoulder joint, it doesn't have that much mobility. The extension is limited due to the presence of the iliofemoral ligament. Then applied anatomy. Applied anatomy consists of the congenital dislocation. It consists of the condition called as Perth disease also. Then there may be aspiration from the hip joint. There may be fracture of the neck of the hip joint. And muscle producing movements. What are the muscles responsible to do the flexion, to touch the thigh to the chest? Extension of the hip joint. Abduction, taking away from the central axis and towards the central axis. That is the adduction. Okay. Now one by one, I will silently, or you keep cautious that points what should be included. The 2 marks question, expected 2 marks question from this question is that name the ligaments of the hip joint and what is the nerve supply of the hip joint. Hip joint is supplied by femoral nerve, articular branch of the femoral nerve, the articular branch of the obturator nerve. So whenever there is a 2 nerves supplied to the joint, there may be referred pains. Any disorder in the hip joint may produce pain in the knee also. Pain in the knee. Such a pains are being called as a referred pains. So the name of the joint is a hip joint. It is synovial variety of the ball and socket. Ball and socket type of joint. The ball is the head of the femur and socket is the acetabular cavity of the hip joint, of the hip bone. Acetabular cavity of the hip bone, in which the ilium, ischium and pubis meets together at that cavity. It is a deep cavity in which the glenoid cavity is not that, it is shallow, but the acetabular cavity is deep. So head of the femur fully fits into the acetabular cavity to form the hip joint. Now the articulating this bone has a strong strength and mobility. What are the structures responsible for the mobility? See, what are the articulating surfaces? the actual articulating surface. See, the head of the femur articulates with the acetabulum of the hip bone to form the hip joint. The head of the femur forms more than half of the spear and covered with a hyaline cartilage except at the fovea capitis. The acetabulum presents a horseshoe-shaped lunate articular surface. There is a, see, this one is a horseshoe-shaped lunate articular surface, and actually articular area is inside that horseshoe-shaped articular surface. Then the lunate surface and acetabular notch and acetabular fossa. The lunate surface is covered with the cartilage, though articular surface on the head of the femur and on the acetabular cavity are reciprocally curved. They are not coextensive. So that is the about articular surfaces of the hip joint. Now the hip joint is the unique joint having a strong stability and a mobility. So what are the factors responsible for the strong stability and mobility of the joint? The first factor, depth of the acetabulum and the narrowing of the mouth of the acetabular labrum. The mouth of the acetabular labrum is narrow, but the depth is more of the acetabular cavity. Secondly, tension and strength of the ligament. There are huge ligaments, 7 ligaments are there for not to dislocate the hip joint. So strong ligaments are bounded or that keeps in place the hip joint. Thirdly, strength of the surrounding muscles. Huge muscles are there in the back, gluteal muscles are there anteriorly, the anterior compartment muscles, and medially there are adductor muscles. They do not allow to dislocate the hip joint easily. Then the length and obliquity of the neck of the femur. The neck of the femur is longer, and that's why it gives stability to the joint and mobility to the joint. Secondly, atmospheric pressure. A fairly wide range of the mobility is possible because of the fact that femur has a long neck and which is narrower than the equatorial diameter of the head. Okay. Now the ligaments. The ligaments include fibrous capsule that adheres or articulated to the fibrous capsule around the hip joint. We have here you can see here the fibrous capsule of the hip joint. Here you can see in the book here the fibrous capsule. The fibrous capsule is very away to the neck of the, at the junction of the upper end with the neck, the fibrous capsule, and it is also articulated to the around the acetabular cavity. The fibrous capsule, the joint cavity is covered by a fibrous capsule, first and important. Secondly, the iliofemoral ligament, the ligament that starts from the ilium to the femur, iliofemoral ligament. Thirdly, pubofemoral ligament. Fourthly, the ischiofemoral ligament. Iliofemoral, ischiofemoral, pubofemoral, the ligaments coming from the hip bone. And thirdly, the ligament of the head of the femur. That is a unique ligament that remains intact, although there is a dislocation of the head of the femur from the acetabulum. Acetabular cavity मधून hip bone मधून जरी femur खाली आलं तरी ligament of the head of the femur तसंच राहतं. It remains intact and it do not allow to dislocate the femur further. So that is ligament of the head of the femur, and around the margin of the acetabular cavity there is a acetabular labrum. It is a thick articulation that remains, that is articulated to the margin of the acetabular cavity is called as the acetabular labrum. Then transverse acetabular ligament. Around the acetabulum at the notch here there is a transverse ligament that do not allow to dislocate the head of the femur downward. So these are the 7 ligaments. I again revise: fibrous capsule, iliofemoral ligament, ischio-femoral ligament, pubofemoral ligament, and ligament of the head of the femur, then acetabular labrum, then the transverse ligament of the acetabulum. These are the 7 ligaments of the hip joint. Again, tell that this is the commonly asked 2 marks question. Name any 4 ligaments of the hip joint. Then anterior superiorly, the capsule is thick and firmly attached. I have shown you the model of the hip joint in which the ligaments, in the book you will get actual articulation of the capsule at the junction of the neck with the upper end, and it also covers the joint cavity and articulated to the hip bone, joint capsule. The capsule of the is thick and firmly attached. This part is subjected to the maximum tension in the standing position. Posterior inferiorly, the capsule is thin and loosely attached to the bone. Capsule is made up of 2 types of fibers. The outer fibers are longitudinal and the inner circular is called as that zona articularis. Then the longitudinal fibers are best developed anterior superiorly, where many of them are reflected along the neck of the femur to form the retinaculus. Blood vessels supplying the head and the neck of the femur travel along these retinacula. The synovial membrane lines the fibrous capsule and the intracapsular portion of the neck of the femur. Both surfaces of the acetabular labrum and the transverse ligament and the fat of the acetabular fossa. It also invests the round ligament of the head of the femur. Now, the joint cavity communicates with the bursa lying deep to the tendon of the psoas major through circular opening of the capsule located between the pubofemoral ligament and vertical band of the iliofemoral ligament. Now, iliofemoral ligament is inverted Y-shaped. See, this one is that iliofemoral ligament, and this is the pubofemoral ligament. Both the ligaments, the diagrams are given. You may draw a separate diagram of the iliofemoral ligament and pubofemoral ligament. Then it is one of the strongest ligament of the body. It prevents the trunk from falling backwards in the standing position. The ligament is triangular in shape and the apex is attached to the lower half of the anterior inferior iliac spine and the base of the intertrochanteric line. The upper oblique and the lower vertical fibers form thick and strong bands, while the middle fibers are thin and weak. The pubofemoral ligament, the name of the ligament itself indicates where the ligaments are attached. If you are not able to write in detail the relations of the ligament, you just write down on the basis of the iliofemoral, it is above attached to the ilium and below to the femur. Pubofemoral ligament, it is superiorly it is attached to the pubic bone, pubis, and inferiorly it is attached to the femur. You may draw diagram, not necessary that according to the book you have to draw the diagram. Then the ischio-femoral ligament, the pubofemoral ligament, it supports the joint anteromedially. Also, it is triangular in shape. Superiorly, it is attached to the iliopubic eminence, the obturator crest, and the obturator membrane inferiorly. It merges with the anterior inferior part of the capsule and with the lower band of the iliofemoral ligament. Ischio-femoral ligament is comparatively weak. It covers the joint posteriorly. Its fibers are twisted and extend from the ischium to the acetabulum. The fibers of the ligament form the zona articularis. Some of them are attached to the greater trochanter. The ligament of the head of the femur. This is important ligament. Ligament of the head of the femur. Lastly, it works. Last but not least, it is important in the dislocation. This ligament is very important. It is also called as round ligament or ligamentum teres. Is a flat and triangular ligament. The apex is attached to the fovea capitis and the base of the triangular ligament and the margins of the acetabular notch. It may be very thin or even absent. The transmit arteries of the head of the femur from the acetabular branches of the obturator and medial circumflex femoral artery. The acetabular labrum. It is a fibrocartilaginous rim attached to the margins of the acetabulum. The cord asते ना, that ridge of the acetabulum, to that there is a attachment of the acetabular labrum. It narrows the mouth of the acetabulum. It helps in holding the head of the femur in position. Transverse ligament of the acetabulum is a part of the acetabular labrum which bridges the acetabular notch. The notch is thus converted into a foramen which transmits the acetabular vessels and nerves to the joint. Now, this is the description of the ligament. If you write down 2-3 sentences regarding each of the ligament on the basis of the spellings or names, it is convenient you can give 2 to 3 points regarding each of the ligament. Now, the relations. The relations, firstly, anterior. You may draw that diagram, and you see that diagram. If you know that diagram, you can easily describe the relations. Anterior, medial and posterior. This is a parasagittal section of the hip joint. You see, this is a relation diagram belonging to the relations of the hip joint. Diagram related to the relations of the hip joint. Okay. Now, anterior relations, tendon of the iliopsoas separated from the joint by the bursa, femoral vein, femoral artery and femoral nerve. Then the posterior relations, the joint is below upwards related to the following muscle: tendon of the obturator internus, externus covered by the quadratus femoris muscle, obturator internus and gemini, piriformis, sciatic nerve and the gluteus maximus muscle. They are posteriorly. Then superiorly, reflected head of the rectus femoris muscle covered by the gluteus maximus, gluteus medius and partly by the gluteus maximus. Inferior relation, lateral fibers of the pectineus and the obturator externus, addition to these gracilis, adductor longus, brevis, magnus and hamstring muscles. These are the relations. Now, you may see the diagram. This one is a sartorius. This one is a rectus femoris. This one is a tensor fascia lata. See, this one is a diagram of a parasagittal section of the hip joint. This one is a lateral. See, this one is a tensor fascia remains to the lateral side. This one is a front side. This one is the joint. Actually, the articulating surface of this one is a acetabular cavity. This one is a transverse ligament. And this one is the actual articulating surface. This is non-articular. Then this one is a sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve. This one is the posterior side. This one is the anterior lateral side. anterior lateral side, anterior and lateral. This one is the medial side, this one is the superior, this one is the inferior, and this one is the posterior, and this one is the medial. Sorry. So these are the relations of the hip joint. See the relations: superior, inferior, lateral and anterior, medial and posterior. As all of you know, suppose this is the man, this is the lateral aspect, anterior aspect, posterior aspect, and medial. This one is the medial, from the medial side of the hip joint. So medially, as all of you know, there are adductor muscles: gracilis, adductor longus, adductor magnus, adductor brevis. These adductor muscles are there. All of this is the medial compartment muscles, and this is the posterior compartment. This is the posterior aspect, posterior, and these are the superficial posterior. These are the gluteal muscles, and small inside that the hamstring muscles are there. Hamstring muscles are also there. So superiorly there is a gluteus medius and some part of the gluteus maximus. Then the piriformis posteriorly, and to the superior piriformis. Posteriorly there is a sciatic nerve. The nerves related in relation with the hip joint: sciatic nerve, femoral nerve, and obturator nerve. See, around the joint cavity, the sciatic nerve, obturator nerve, and the femoral nerve. This is femoral triangle, basically the femoral triangle through which the femoral nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein. See, this one is the anterior aspect, anterior to the joint. These are the three structures: the femoral nerve, lateral, femoral artery, middle, and most medial is the femoral vein. Superior relations: gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, anteriorly and laterally. Anteriorly, the tensor fasciae lata, then rectus femoris, sartorius, and the muscles of the anterior compartment of the thigh, the quadriceps femoris muscles. Medially, all the adductors, gracilis, and pectineus, the muscle pectineus. These are the 5 muscles in the medial relation, and obturator nerve. This is a medial compartment of the thigh. The medial 5 muscles and the obturator nerve. Anterior compartment consists of the femoral artery, femoral vein, femoral nerve, and the quadriceps femoris muscles and the muscle sartorius. And little bit laterally, tensor fasciae lata. Above there is a gluteal 2 muscles. Posteriorly, there is a piriformis. Posteriorly, there is a piriformis and the gluteus maximus. Most of the posterior aspect of the hip joint is covered by the gluteus maximus muscle. Then the hamstrings, then the adductor magnus is little bit to the inferior and to the medial side. Then the gracilis is there. Okay. This one is the adductor brevis. Okay. This one is the adductor magnus. This one is the adductor longus and gracilis. These are the medial side and inferior side. And this is the acetabular cavity, or actual acetabular cavity. So these are the relations in which you can see. This one is the tendon of the obturator internus. The tendon of the obturator internus. Sciatic nerve, femoral nerve, obturator nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein. Then the posterior medial compartment muscles, anterior compartment muscles. Superiorly is gluteal muscles, and posteriorly all the gluteal muscles are there. It includes 3 gluteal: maximus, minimus, and medius. And piriformis, the posterior compartment muscles are there, and posteriorly there is a sciatic nerve. Most deep structure is the sciatic nerve. It is more nearer to the joint cavity. So these are the, you may say, superior, inferior. This is anterior lateral. This is medial, and this one is the posterior. The sides of this diagram: superior, inferior, anterior lateral, medial, and posterior. So if you know this diagram, you can easily write down the hip joint very easily. Now the next is the, you can write directly superior structures, inferior structures, medial structures, anterior structures, and posterior surface structures in the relation of a hip joint. Now the arterial supply. Hip joint is supplied by obturator artery, two circumflex femoral artery, and a gluteal arteries. The medial and lateral circumflex femoral arteries form the arterial circle around the capsule attachment of the neck of the femur. Retinacular arteries arise from the circle and supply the intracapsular part of the neck and the greater part of the head and femur. The small part of the head near the fovea capitis is supplied by acetabular branch of the obturator artery and the medial circumflex femoral artery. So obturator artery and medial circumflex femoral artery are the main important branches of the gluteal artery, are the main arteries that supplies the hip joint. Then the nerve supply. It is supplied by two nerves. I already told you, referred page. It is supplied by a articular branch of the femoral nerve. Then it is also supplied by obturator nerve, articular branch of the obturator nerve. So any disorder in the structure supplied by obturator nerve or by the femoral nerve may lead to the referred pain in the hip joint. Okay. Now the movements. There are mainly four movements. Flexion of the hip joint. See, I am taking the thigh. This is a flexion. You have to touch your thigh to your chest. That is a flexion. Then the extension. Taking it. But see, the extension has a limitation. It cannot extend beyond 45 degrees due to the presence of the iliofemoral ligament in this. Then secondly, the abduction and adduction. Taking away from the central axis is the abduction. Taking towards the central axis to the medial side, that is adduction. Then the medial and lateral, you can rotate to the lateral side, you can rotate to the medial and lateral rotation of the hip joint. Then the circumduction, movement of the whole of the hip joint around its own axis. So you must have seen in the southern picture, the heroes move their lower extremity. Very better, the circumduction of the hip joint. During the hip joint extension is a slight abduction and the medial rotation is close back position of the hip joint, which means the ligament of the capsule is most taut in this position, but the surface of the most of the congruent in the slightly flexed. In general, axis passes to the center of the head of the femur, but none of them fixed because of head is not quite spherical. Flexion is limited by the contact of the thigh with the anterior abdominal wall. Similarly, adduction is limited in contact with the opposite limb. Ranges of the other movements are different from the one another. Extension is only 15 degrees. Abduction is 50 degree, medial rotation is 25 degree, and lateral rotation is 60 degree. You can rotate above your head also. Some people above the level of the head. Then the moments of the hip joint is closely related to the position of the knee joint. See, during the flexion, you have to bend your knee, without which you can't touch your thigh to your chest. So for flexion, bending of the knee is essential. You can't bend your hip joint by keeping the extension of the knee joint. Can you? You can't. It is difficult. Now, the muscles responsible for the movement. See, flexion, main muscles, psoas major and iliacus. Accessory muscles are pectineus, rectus femoris and sartorius. Adductor longus and participate rarely. Extension, gluteus maximus and hamstrings. Adduction, taking away for the adduction, the adductor longus, brevis and magnus. Abduction, gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. Medial rotation, that is movement to the medial side. The tensor fasciae lata and anterior fibers of the gluteus medius and minimus. Lateral rotation, the two obturators, two obturators and the gemelli and quadratus femoris muscles. These are the main muscles they are responsible for the movement of the hip joint. Muscles responsible for the movement. It is very common sense that you can easily write down flexion, extension, lateral rotation, the lateral, medial rotation, and circumduction. All the muscles work in this. Now the clinical anatomy. Clinical anatomy, during birth of the baby, if there is a breech presentation or presentation by the lower limbs, if only one limb comes out during the delivery, there may be chances of the by birth or that birth dislocation. So congenital dislocation is more common in hip than in other joints of the body. The head of the femur slips upwards to the gluteal surface of the ilium because of the upper margin of the acetabulum is developmentally deficient. Acetabulumचं upper margin is deficient असतं, त्यामुळे that femur dislocate upward. Congenitally, there may be some congenital anomalies in the development of the acetabulum. It is congenitally in the uterus itself it gets dislocated. Secondly, the Perthes disease or pseudocoxalgia is characterized by the destruction and flattening of the head of the femur with the increased joint space in the X-ray picture. So what happens in that? Coxa vara develops. What is coxa vara? Coxa vara is a condition in which neck shaft angle is reduced from the normal angle about 150 in child and 127 in the adult. It gets reduced. The normal neck and shaft angle. It is 127 in adults and 150 in children. So it gets reduced. So that coxa vara condition is there. Then dislocation of the hip joint posteriorly is very common. Then the injuries to the region of the hip joint may produce shortening of the lower limb because of blood supply or rupture of the arteries. Then the disease of the hip joint, tuberculosis. Joint la TB होतो. There is a tuberculosis. Hip joint is a common site of the tuberculosis. Joint मध्ये knee joint ला नाही होत, खांद्याला नाही होत, पण hip joint is a common site. TB होताना lungs ला होतो आणि hip joint ला. So hip joint is a common site of the tuberculosis. Secondly, aspiration. Needle for checking the fluid. Aspiration by the syringe and needle. Aspiration of the joint can be done by passing the needle from the 5 cm below to the anterior superior iliac spine and upwards, backwards and medially. You have to penetrate the anterior superior iliac spine upwards, backwards and medially. You have to penetrate the needle for aspirating, taking the fluid for the investigation. Then the diseases which are in the about the hip joint regarding the age, with relation with the age. 5 वर्षाच्या खालच्या मुलांना काय होतं? कंजेनायटल डिसलोकेशन आणि टीबी, ट्युबरकुलोसिस. 5 ते 10 वर्षाच्या मुलांना पेर्स डिसीज कॉमनली असते, जिथे बाकीच्या मोठ्या माणसांना नाही होत. देन 10 ते 20, 10 to 20 years, Coxa-Vara. The angle, congenital, the angle is decreased, and that leads to the clinical condition called as the Coxa-Vara. Secondly, above 40 years, osteoarthritis, inflammation of the joint, osteo of the joint, or actually the connective tissue, actually the bones, inflammation. These are the common. Arthritis of the joint, position of the joint is partially flexed, abducted and laterally rotated. Fracture of the neck of the femur is very common in the elderly person. दादा, आजोबा, आजी बाथरूम मधून घसरून पडले आणि नेक मोडला. दिस इज व्हेरी कॉमन. इट डझंट हॅपन इन केस ऑफ अ यंगस्टर. तरुणांमध्ये असा प्रकार होत नाही, कारण त्यांची बोन ऑस्टिओपोरोसिस, त्यांची नेक किंवा बोनच ठिसूळ झालेलं असतं, म्हणून घसरलं, स्लिपरी म्हणजे घसरण्याच्या जागेवरून घसरले, पडल्यानंतर नेक ऑफ द फिमर इज अ व्हेरी कॉमन इन द एल्डरली. म्हाताऱ्या माणसांमध्ये फिमर फ्रॅक्चर होण्याचं प्रमाण सगळ्यात जास्त असतं. सेकंडली, द शेल्टन्स लाईन in the X-ray is a picture of a continuous curve formed by the upper border of the obturator foramen and lower border of the neck of the femur. In fracture of the neck, line becomes abnormal. That Shelton's line, X-ray काढला जातो, फ्रॅक्चर आहे का हे पाहण्यासाठी. द शेल्टन्स लाईन, दिस इज द see, this one is a Shelton's line. This is the diagram of the Shelton's line. Diagram of the Shelton's line. So I again revise what is Shelton's line. Shelton's line is a line in the X-ray. एखाद्याचा फिमर फ्रॅक्चर झालेलं का नाही, कशावरून आपण एक्सरे काढल्यानंतर यू कम टू द डायग्नोसिस दॅट इट इज अ in the X-ray picture, Shelton's line is a continuous curve formed by the upper border of the obturator foramen. You know the obturator foramen, upper border, it's upper border, and the lower border of the neck of the femur. Lower border of the neck of the femur. That line in the fracture, the neck of the femur. In fracture, neck femur line becomes abnormal. Neck and femur line becomes abnormal, is called as a Shelton's line. The Shelton's line is a diagnostic technique for diagnosis of the fracture of the hip joint. Okay, so 6 diagrams: definition, introduction, type of the joint, name of the joint, bones participating, articulating surfaces, description of the ligament, diagram of the ligament, relations, blood supply, venous drainage, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply. It is supplied by 2 nerves. Then the applied anatomy points, in which you can write down many things: neck of fracture, Coxa-Vara, Shelton's line, many things you can, dislocation of the hip joint, you can write many things, you can draw. If you know that diagram of the relation, you can easily write down the hip joint. Thank you. So, you have to draw the diagram at the same place. Suppose if you have started, you have to draw the diagrams of the ligaments. When you are describing the ligaments, you have to draw the diagram of the relations. So before to that, or after, better before to that, if you draw the diagram of the relations, diagram of a relation, it is convenient to you to write down the relations. And there are also diagrams given in the book, that is of Coxa-Vara, Shelton's line, then the dislocation of the hip joint. You can draw some small diagrams of the applied anatomy also. So you have a huge chance to write down in detail the anatomy of the hip joint better, and this is one of the important questions for your future, even for your future in your practice life as well as in the anatomy paper second for gaining the mark. So if hip joint is asked, never leave the question and write down the question. Thank you. शंकर तू बंद कर ना, टाकायची